and they have a different theme each month. And I'm also a full-time event planner, and so I plan for a lot of mission-driven organizations and small businesses, artists. So a lot of my clients are also doing really great work in the community, and so I really love what I do. I feel like it has been a theme throughout my life. Even as a young child, I was a part of the youth committees at the masjids, hosting trips. I can remember when I was like 10 years old, hosting trips to like the zoo with kids my age. My mom would help me to organize it. So I've been doing this a long time. And some of you may recognize me from just planning some Muslim events like Day One and Salam Sunday, which really helped to put a lot of Muslim artists in the forefront. So that's, I guess, a little bit about me. I don't know if I should continue, but
Yeah, I was gonna try to show. Can you tell us something about your social media and just the initiatives? I'm gonna try to show some of that.
oh, okay. Well, currently I am working on quite a few things. I work with a lot of different nonprofits, but this Sunday there is a fall festival that I have planned with the organization called Backyard Base Camp. And Backyard Base Camp is an organization that reconnects Black and Indigenous people of color to the natural environment. And they have a 7-acre farm right in the middle of Baltimore City, where they have goats and they teach naturalist skills and earth skills. I really enjoy working with them because their work is definitely dear to my heart. I love being in the outdoors and in nature. And so I really enjoy being able to help them to reach the community through their events as well. So they contract with me to plan all of their events as well. And another thing I'm working on with a sister named Khadija, and she's having a fundraising. Well, actually, it's a fashion show called Rahma on the Runway, and so I'm helping her to produce that fashion show, and that's November the 14th. Um, Also working with an organization out of DC called Words Beats Life, and they're having their annual Champions Breakfast, which helps to connect their donors and thank their donors for the support. So lots of things in the works. You can find me on social media at Naima underscore of underscore in life. Or you can follow my events page, which is Global Flair Events, and that is linked through my social media as well. So he's right now just scrolling through some of my portfolio. And so it is a family and women-owned business. We work together. Again, Creative Nomads is one of my clients, and I plan several of their events. But I also will work with individuals as well. But as you can see, if he flips through the different types of events that I've done and that I currently do.
Alhamdulillah, very nice. As we're going through the Muslim African American Heritage Month, we're seeing that the descendants of the slaves and the people on the Middle Passage, that did not jump over, did not die, come to America, be slaves, went through the whole, Nation of Islam into today. So you're a child of this history, and we see the
Mhm.
work you're doing with. So I want people to know that there's no work that's too small or too big, or any big eyes or small U's that came from these people. So we see now she's doing the beautiful work with the event planning and with the community. And this is a descendant of the slave, of the Middle Passage, of the African experience. So
Yeah.
that's really what I'm trying to
Yeah.
pull from having guests, is to show now what the descendants of these slaves or Africans are now producing. And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Thank you.
thank
I
you.
guess for the sake of their purpose, I'll just let them know that I was named Baltimore's best event planner 2 years in a row.
Oh, see? Yeah.
Black Baltimore best,
Yeah.
and
Black
also
Baltimore.
received, yeah,
So
best
alhamdulillah,
of
may
Black
Allah
Baltimore.
continue to bless you and give you success. I mean, you have some beautiful things, and inshallah, we'll be able to see more from you in the future. Thank you for
Inshallah.
agreeing to share your story.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
All right. So what we're going to move to today is we're looking at what's called the conveners of the community of Imam Deputy to Muhammad. We're going to look at today, as well as the mosque cares. So when Imam Muhammad passed away, he left the mosque cares to his son to run. So what we want to do is to try to maybe go to some of the websites of the mosque cares and convenience of imams and see what they're working on. And then we're going to move into the the beef of the program in the next few days is Muhammad Masjid. So I decided to break the masjids up by cities, and I gotta add Naima, I gotta add Baltimore and DC because I was part of that too. But we want to add them, and we want to look and see what these masjids and the people in these masjids are working on. I think that's a better way to kind of get an overview than trying to see individual overviews. So we're gonna go by cities, and I'm gonna try to do that in an interactive way where people can kind of see what these cities are now offering and what people are working on in these cities. So let's try to do that. So first is the convenience of imams. So let's try to go to their website with my slow computer. It's kind of catching up. And then we do have a video for Atlanta Masjid that's considered this flagship by many. But as we see with Naima in Baltimore, she's doing her thing, and I'm sure she knows of other things going on in there that maybe she can share with us when we get to Baltimore. Because just because you're in the city with the most, masjids or a lot of Muslims does not mean that your city is just what's going on. There's stuff going on all over the country, and when you travel, you see what else is going on. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know Naima had her events and like doing big things, and now she was voted the biggest, the best event planner. You don't know those things. So when you talk to people and you travel and you see things, you see that's what they're working with. So this is the website of the conveners of imams, London Load, and basically they put out like Ramadan announcements of the sighting of the moons, or when it's time for Eid. They'll put out a letter, email a letter, and let everybody know that the moon's been sighted. So they're still trying to have some structure, organizational structure to the community, even though we have no centralized leadership. So I mean, and that's good. I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, most communities do need some structure, but there's no top or head at the community level. So, that's what they're working on. It's taking a while to load. So here they have Al Islam, information on Al Islam for people. Just a little background on Imam Debi D. Muhammad, his life and what he worked on, his language. Then they got the Ma'am Deputy Muhammad community, the sections, um, the masjids. Let's see if we can get that to come up. That's what I wanted to show, the different masjids, and see if they had a map. Oh, you had to download the list. Okay, well, then they have the conveners of imams where they got their profiles, the role of, okay, they do have a list there. All right. They have the presentation 2023 conveners conference they had in Orlando. Then they have Imam Demi Muhammad resources. So see, they try to at least keep some type of organization, event, time to be grateful that's coming up. So if you want to get information on Imam W. Muhammad community around the country, see this is updated. This is the one coming up in Newark in December. You'll go to their page and you'll be able to link to other sources, which is really good because it keeps the information organized and people be able to find the information and be able to get the information they need, even though they're not any centralized government or organizational head like most organizations or religions. They can still get the information. So they're committed to doing that. You can contact them maybe if you have an issue. And then they got highlights. Let's see what's under highlights. Africa, there's, so they got the Muslim Journal and stuff that's going on. Musharraf Mubashir Ukhtar, he's writing some letters, like, and then different, look like Muslim Journal articles. Oh, he got articles that he put in here. So I guess he's the manager of this site, which is good. Like, he don't want to just be totally disconnected. Study of al-Islam is big. He has his music and his book. So this is good. I think this is a good initiative to kind of keep connected. We can see it's an older looking website, but maybe he'll upgrade in a few years or few months. But still, let's not devalue our own thing that we have to help us keep connected. He's just trying to keep us connected. And the community of Imam Deputy Muhammad, conveners of Imam, is what helps do that. So alhamdulillah for that. All right. Let's also, and remember, we're recording too, so we can have this on file for years to come, way after us. So the Mosque Cares is Imam Muhammad's last organization that he actually left as a, I guess it's sort of like an inheritance to his son. And I missed a couple days, so I might have lost a few people with that. But like I said, I try to mess you up and get you to leave your initiative because he don't want man to promote what Allah wants to promote. He wants to promote, sin and things that will not help us as a people. But alhamdulillah, it's recorded, so hopefully people in the future will be able to see this. All right, so this is the Mosque Cares, Ministry of Imam W. Muhammad. Got information on the annual Muslim convention, activities, first Sunday. So these were all initiatives that Imam Muhammad had that he's trying to continue. His son is going to continue forward. And I think, this is a good initiative too. Um, but it's not well received because they don't want any centralized government, right? So I guess they don't want to give one person too much attention and power. So they won't have, because right now, each masjid is kind of independent of each other, right? So here you have, let's see what they got going on for activities. And so some people don't want to, follow it or recognize it because they don't want anybody, no head to be over it. So if you give somebody too much attention, then they might try to become the head. But anyway, that's like a lot of organizations. When the leader dies, see, they have a whole calendar. That's cool. A whole calendar that they have their programs and the Juma and stuff. And you choose who you want to follow. Most people just want to stay in their community. Some people want to, branch out to the mosque care. Some people want to do the, support the conveners. They had a conference that we went over in Philadelphia not too long ago, which was excellent. And I got a video on that if you want to see that in the series. And you pick who you want to, associate with, and you go ahead and you go with them. Then you also allowed to do your own thing. You do your own thing, and everybody get in when they fit in, take their interests, and move that forward. And you get the support that you put forth the work, and you get the support. Naima put forth her work with her events, and I'm sure people in her community and outside the community uses her because she's doing excellent work. All right, so that's my scares. And we're gonna go ahead into the first city. Let's go back to our map. All right, so the first city is Atlanta. It starts with A, and it's considered the flagship of the community. Like when I say flagship, I mean people kind of look towards Atlanta for the youth and what's going on, and the high school and the gym and all these things that maybe they aspire to do. So we want to watch a video about Atlanta 65th anniversary and see if we can get that to play so that we can show what's going on in Atlanta and for the last 65 years, some history. And I'm going to try to do that for the other communities as well. They might not have a video like this from Atlanta, but I'm going to go to their webpage. I'm going to go to their Facebook, and we're going to try to see what other people are working on. And then if a person maybe come on from that particular city, maybe I have some representatives coming from each city. So maybe when we talk about their city, they're from Newark or they're from Houston. will go into their masjid, and that kind of keep it, concise. So let's watch this video about Atlanta and kind of learn about what they're working on.
The Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam holds the distinction of being the first Islamic house of worship in metropolitan Atlanta, a city that boasts nearly 100 masajid, or Islamic houses of worship. The masjid began in 1956 and received its temple charter as Muhammad's Temple number 15 in 1958. In its first decade, the theme and focus was following the vision and message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam, who pushed black people to do for self. The community moved in 1965 from the Oddfellow building on Auburn Avenue to a church building at 1225 Bankhead Highway, purchased by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his new convert, world heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali. That church building was converted to a temple and University of Islam school. Having its own school made Atlanta a major focus for Muslims around the nation. 1970 to 1979 were years of transition as we mourned the 1972 passing of the mother of the nation, Sister Clara Muhammad. In 1974, we purchased a second church, a multi-level facility at 735 Fayetteville Road that was converted into the second location of a mosque and a school, which boasted more than 300 students. That building is now the site of the community's Muhammad Schools of Atlanta, a pre-K through 12th grade educational institution that has graduated more than 500 from its high school. It was also in 1974 that we brought 20,000 people together at the Lakewood Fairgrounds to witness Mayor Maynard Jackson, Atlanta's first black mayor, and boxing champion Muhammad Ali in a mock fight. In 1975, after the passing of the nation's leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his son, Imam W.D. Muhammad, the new leader, assigned Imam Ibrahim Pasha as Atlanta's new imam. Imam Pasha spearheaded many notable projects that continued Atlanta's connections with the black local community and government leaders. It was all hands on deck in the 1980s as the school reopened in January with its new name, Sister Clara Muhammad School, with 60 elementary and middle school students and its new tuition-based structure. Imam Pasha passed leadership on to Cleman El Amin in 1985. Imam Pasha remained as his associate imam. The school began to grow and burst at the seams as enrollment reached an all-time high of 300 students by 1985, and the 735 structure that housed the masjid and school was expanded by raising the floor so that the musalla was above 8 added classrooms. Community members volunteered and were taught skills of masonry, carpentry, plumbing, HVAC, electrical wiring, and more as they united to renovate and expand our own building. High school grades were added 1 year at a time beginning in 1987, and the high school was named W.D. Muhammad High School in 1988. In 1990, the Atlanta Masjid purchased the dilapidated plaza property at the corner of Fayetteville and Glenwood Roads, just half a mile from the 735 property. This plaza was across from government housing called Little Vietnam. The masjid community called this purchase and move making a moral investment. The property became the Islamic Shopping Plaza, the new site of the Atlanta Masjid, and 8 businesses, including 2 restaurants, a beauty salon, a barbershop, a variety store, a laundromat, a grocery store, and halal meat market. The unity, growth, and productivity of the Atlanta Masjid and Muslim community was attractive and appealing to hundreds of Muslim families as they migrated from all over the USA to make Atlanta their new home, to make the Muhammad schools the place for their children's education, and to build new lives in this city that was selected as the site of the 1996 Olympics. One W.D. Muhammad High School student was among the Atlanta Dream Team youth ambassadors that convinced world leaders in Seoul, Japan, to select Atlanta for the 1996 Olympics. W.D. Muhammad High School graduated its first class of 8 graduates in 1992, with Imam W.D. Muhammad as the first commencement speaker. The Atlanta Masjid community took another leap as it recycled materials from the City of Atlanta Drew Community Center and other resources to build the 40,000 square foot Sharif Abdurrahim Gymnasium and the Abdul Jalil building that is used for the W.D. Muhammad High School. It took 3 years, using volunteer community labor once again and financial contributions and loans from Muslim philanthropists to construct the facility that opened September 2001. The Atlanta Masjid loves its connection with the worldwide Muslim community, and more than 1,000 have made the sacred pilgrimage to Allah's house of worship to fulfill the fifth pillar of Islam. The community was stunned by the 2008 passing of Imam W.D. Muhammad. The Imam had set the community on a path to connect and build community relations, especially relations with brothers and sisters of varied faiths. Atlanta had its own thrust for interfaith relations. Atlanta's leadership took to heart Imam W.D. Muhammad's recommendation to put young people in leadership while we are still around to guide them. It was in 2010 that the masjid restructured to build greater transparency and continue growing as an action-oriented community with cross-generational involvement. Imam Mansour was ratified by the community in 2010, and his 2010 to 2014 leadership rendered beautification of the masjid, courtyard, pioneer hall, and the bathrooms. His leadership engaged and involved more young adults, which contributed to a sense of rejuvenation and increased young adults in community projects and programs. Imam Mansour left to further his studies. His assistant imam, Imam Suleiman Hamid, another second-generation imam, also a student of the Muhammad schools, Imam W.D. Muhammad, and the American Muslim student delegation to Damascus, Syria, was ratified. From 2015 to present, Imam Hamid has been the resident imam of the community, and his leadership is supported by 4 generations of Muslims. He paid off the mortgages of the community, and thus facilitated a debt-free community, created innovative ways to bring the community together during the pandemic with drive-in Juma, online classes of the Faith Institute, managed multiple new grants to service food to the elderly, and free testing through the masjid for COVID-19. The Atlanta Masjid today is a community structured to include 3 main entities: the spiritual community of the Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam, the Muhammad Schools of Atlanta, comprising Clara Muhammad School and W.D. Muhammad High School, and masjid real estate properties of 14 acres and 80,000 square feet of floor space, including residential, retail, and the school. The Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam is a community that bridges generations and shares in collective, innovative humanitarian works. The Atlanta Masjid is proud of its 65 years of building community life and is committed to building generations of Muslims who are contributors to a morally sound community of leaders, workers, spiritually connected men, women, and children. Today, there are more than 3,000 supporters and 500 families that call the Atlanta Masjid their home masjid, where they build community life through daily salah, Friday Salatul Jummah gatherings. The Atlanta Masjid community is one of at least 1,000 Islamic communities in the USA, in association with the leadership and vision of Imam Warithdin Muhammad. The Atlanta Masjid has begun the journey of redeveloping our Atlanta properties with a futuristic vision to build a state-of-the-art masjid, school, housing, and business complex that represents our Islamic life where we live, work, play, and pray together. As a community, we have a shared intergenerational vision of a promising future, guided and assisted by Allah the Mighty. We believe our dreams will surely become a reality, and our community will be a resource for generations to come.
All right. So alhamdulillah, that's Atlanta Masjid. And so Naima, I'm gonna do Baltimore since Baltimore is B and next. So I'll do Baltimore, put Baltimore in there and go next. But we want to talk today about Atlanta and all the different initiatives. It's so many really coming from Atlanta. that it's probably too many to name, but we'll at least try to do some that I know of, and maybe Ayana, you might know of a few too. So first, we want to talk that Atlanta Masjid is not the only masjid that's in Atlanta, and we're going to want to take a look at some other ones. So what I'm going to try to do is do a fly through to some of the other masjids. Let's see if that works. If the computer will work with me, I'll be able to show you some of the other masjids. So we know that, like, once a masjid is established, sometimes you have issues with the masjid where people, might break off and start another masjid. So I think that probably happened maybe about 4 or 5 times in Atlanta. So you have several masjids that is associated with Atlanta Masjid and the Imam Benefactor Muhammad community that came out of it. I think the first masjid that came out of Imam in Atlanta Masjid is called Masjid Mu'minun, and that's over by I guess you'll call it People's Town in more center Atlanta, the not too far from the downtown of Atlanta. So let's see if we can get the computer to work, and we'll fly there. Then after that came let me see, Mu'minun. After that came Masjid. I think I want to say Quran might came after that. And then that's another masjid that's associated with Atlanta, Imam Deputy Muhammad community. Then you have a masjid called Masjid Al Baina in East Point, College Park. And that masjid came out of the whole Imam Deputy Muhammad community. I think you have a masjid called Masjid Al Ashura, Masjid Al Nur. Masjid Al Shura actually has the first masjid built from the ground up by African Americans, and they were able to also do with the funeral home. So when people, the funeral cemeteries. So when people pass away, they actually end up being buried as what's called Salam Memorial Garden. And what that does is where most of the African Americans are buried. So if you go there, you see, my mom is buried there, my dad is buried there, my sisters is buried there, and they also have Masjid An-Nur that came out of that community, Imam Debi Muhammad community, built from the ground up. Yeah, so Al Mu'minun got a lot of initiatives. They just finished people in the community just finished a multi-story apartment building and mixed use retail that's right across the street from the masjid. So inshallah, some of the believers in that community will be able to live in that unit, because that's really what we want to do, is start creating housing for people, not just masjids or businesses, but have communities. I know Baltimore has a community, I believe, that lives in the same area. I've heard. So I probably try to do some information on it. So Naeem, if you can just send me any information you have on Baltimore masjids and maybe Imam Safir's community, that would be helpful, and I would like to see that.
Okay.
All right, this computer's running super slow, but I'm trying to be high tech, but I'm too high tech for it. It won't let me do it. So let me see. Masjid. And then you have people that you have a loud market ran by some community members on the plaza. They just redid the plaza in Atlanta Masjid where you have all kind of businesses and stuff happening. You also have Imam Rashad Abdurrahman is doing his podcast on YouTube. He's out of Atlanta. You have Atlanta Masjid has like a feeding program, and Sisters United and the Human Services that feed people. They also have Atlanta Society of Muslim Men. They have people doing all kind of stuff. We got Muslim Culture Con that's happening this week, I believe, and they take the people out from all over the country, comes to Atlanta, and they go out and have a retreat. You also have, me working on Deantown and the community, trying to get a community going where we have our own town and we can live, work, play, live, work, and play. This is Masjid Mu'minun. Masjid Mu'minun has a drug rehab program that I interviewed not too long ago that should be online soon, where they're helping people who have drug addictions. And it's not just in Mu'minun, but it's all over the country. They have programs, so people are doing things. These descendants of slaves are really doing things that's helping the community. I mean, it's much more than that. I'm just really I know they have Hajj pros, and they had another Hajj program where they take people to Hajj every year. All the communities kind of come together for Ramadan, fasting, you name it. Let me think of what else. There's so much going on that it's just people really doing their own initiatives. Okay, so this is Mu'minun. Now let me see if I can fly to Ashura. What else is going on in Atlanta? Ayana, can you help me out with some other programs going on in Atlanta? Not just, Atlanta, Masjid might be occupied. I know she's from Atlanta. That's my wife, so I know she knows. All right, Masjid and Noor. Let's see if we can fly there. That's in Atlanta. Let me think of some other things that's going on. You have a lot of graduates that's doing big things. You have a judge. Imam Pleman's daughter is a judge. Here it is right here. You have doctors and lawyers that come out of Muhammad School, graduates of Muhammad School. Let's see if we can go to Masjid al-Nur. That's in Stone Mountain. You have, let's see what else you have. People like I'm working with the fashion show. They got fashion shows that have been going on for 40 years called Celebration, and new fashion shows called Seal Nectar that showed modest fashion. And they actually took a cruise last one, and they had the cruise ship where they was on the cruise ship during the fashion show. So that was big. All right, let's drop it down out north. You have people that's business people. You have Supreme Fish Delight that sold the fish. He had fish stores. Oh, missed it. Must be behind the woods. You have fish stores. You have people who have businesses galore. You name it, they have businesses in it. So these are, again, Muslims who come from the community of Imam W.D. Muhammad. Some brothers that sell cars, some brothers that sell, have bookstores, and every facet of the community they own. All right, let's see if we can fly to I know that's a little better. Some Salam Cemetery. I wish I had a faster computer. It'll be moving faster. And the whole area has about 100 masjids all over the city of Atlanta. And Atlanta Masjid was the first one. That says a lot. That says a lot. The first masjid in the Atlanta region was Atlanta Masjid. We know, unless somebody was hiding. Back in 659 or 69 or something, with the temple of Nation of Islam, and they moved to Atlanta Masjid. So all over the country, you had temples And those temples, when Imam Muhammad came through, turned into masjid. Let's see if we can get it with that. I mean, an error. They might do it, they might not. And you have so many schools and people teaching Islam and Arabic
Assalamualaikum.
speakers and Islam.
Could you please look at your chat? I jotted down some things of different programs that are being offered at various messages.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. So the point is that this community being forward thinking and the initiatives that they have coming up for the future, inshallah, will establish Deantown and a place that we can live, pray, live, work, and play, and that allow us to have a peace. Because if you heard of Chinatown and you heard of Little Italy or Little Jamaica and all these places, people have a piece of the earth. So we need a piece of the earth as well, where we can also have our community. And then that allows us to be a model. Other Dean towns. Maybe that'll be our little part of the community. Deantown will allow us to Deantown, Baltimore, Deantown, New York, Deantown, Philadelphia. And you get off the plane, you say, "I like to go to Deantown." They'll know, okay, you want to go where the Muslims at, and you have your halal food restaurants, your Airbnb, your community, events like Naima, where maybe you might have a lounge or just all of our expressions. That's the vision. I'm trying to open that chat, but this computer is so slow. I'm getting frustrated. Let me see how much time I got. Yeah, I got a few minutes. Okay, let me keep working with it. Got to keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Let me think of what else. I said Culture Con. I know Florida, when we do, not Florida, but when we do Houston, they had Capitol Hill. I talk about them. Um, can you just mention some of them since you can maybe access the chat? Don't be shy. You're welcome to mention some of the things because my chat is taking forever.
Basically, I had put that message.
You went back on mute. Okay, well, we lost her. Like I said, the shaitan do not want to see us progress. So we know I'm working with it. I'm not unprofessional. I'm very professional, but I got the wrong technology. A computer that's super duper slow. Ayana, you try to go off mute and come back on. See, it's not just me. But anyway, we're gonna keep pushing. Atlanta. Okay, let me see what else I can think of. Talked about 69. Okay. So Masjid Anur is big on, I believe, on just trying to live in the same area, like provide space for the people up in Stone Mountain. Masjid Quran, I'm sure they got things involved. I'm not really sure what they're working on, but I'm sure they have things they're working on, and it's big, big things. Um, Albaina, I usually go there, so I know they're working on finding a new building where we all can have. Well, they're trying to do a new building where we can all have unified Eid and not have to go give all our money to Georgia World Congress Center. But we have a building that we can all put our money into, and we won't have to have a place like go to the give our money up because they said they maybe give around $56,000 every year when they do Eid from parking and from the facility, and that's ridiculous. I also found a project the other day where believers are working on a credit union, right? They're working on a credit union where we all can put our money in a like a bank, but it's credit union and have our own financial system. So I'm gonna start pushing that. That's a great idea. I support that wholeheartedly. And our own credit union or credit unions, and I think Atlanta can do that. So we're having a meeting. Hold on a second. Assalamualaikum. It just fell off?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Shake time. All right, I'm gonna close out. I'll try to come back on then close out.
Oh, you mean your end shut down too?
It must have, but it just now went off. He just trying to make me. He just trying to make me frustrated. But I'm not gonna get frustrated. I'm gonna keep going.
So you were still talking?
Yeah, because it was still up, but now it's gone. You were talking, then it dropped off. I thought that was you. It's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna stop. I'll just apologize to her. That was my guest speaker. All right. Some sister out of Baltimore that does event planning. All right, come on when you can.
I don't think I can. I need the link.
No, I said, come on home, come on over when you can. It must have. Yeah, see, it must have hiccup. I said it must have hiccup.
So what happened on your end?
It was going, then it just now stopped.
Because mine just showed my name and it didn't show anybody.